We have with us Tiana Epati, who was the 31st president of the New Zealand Law Society. She was the first person of Polynesian descent to be the president. She was the youngest president. She's also the first Gisborne lawyer to be the president of the Law Society, which is where I come in. I'm a Gizzy girl as well. She was the first president to have a baby on the job, and she was a Crown prosecutor for over a decade. Tiana has a huge success rate in the Court of Appeal. She was the New Zealand Lawyer of the Year in 2019, and she's just one of the most inspirational women in the New Zealand legal profession today. So we are just so lucky to have her with us.
My decision to do law was actually formulated really, really early. I was lucky enough that my father, he had won a scholarship as a kid from Samoa in Samoa to go to Otago University, and he chose law because he thought it was the best way to help his people. So I grew up with the privilege of having a parent who had already studied law, which was quite unusual. And so from age 5, I decided that I too was going to be a lawyer, and I was going to be just like Dad. He was a criminal defence lawyer who took on a number of public law cases. So that was me. I had decided that was going to be my path as well. And even though he tried to talk me out of it a couple of times, I decided that was it. The short story is that I wasn't an exceptional student at law school. I certainly wasn't one of those ones to watch. I wasn't picked out by law lecturers as one day she's going to be the 31st president of the New Zealand Law Society. One day she's going to lead the entire profession of 16,000 lawyers. That just didn't happen. It wasn't foretold in my time at university, but I got through it. What that meant, though, is that I finished university in 1999 and I had a very ordinary academic record. So I wasn't offered the big flash jobs. I didn't get to clerk at a wonderful law firm like MinterEllison, which I would have loved to, but I just wasn't one of those students. And so I found myself at the end of my law degree waiting tables to pay rent, to get by. And I just got really lucky one day. I had what we call a sliding doors moment, where the then Crown Solicitor of Auckland, Simon Moore, he's now Justice Moore in the High Court, he came in on a really busy day and could see that I was really good at dealing with difficult people, difficult personalities, and could juggle, 10 different things all at the same time. And he said to the man who owned the restaurant, do you run a course on how to train staff? Because I think, the Crown prosecutors that I had worked for me could actually learn a thing or two from this young lady. And the manager said, well, actually, no, I don't, but she's probably the way she is because she's just finished law school. And that was it. He left his name and his telephone number, and he said, will you please call me? Which I did a couple of days later. And I went in and had an interview at Meredith Connell, who are one of the largest litigation law firms in New Zealand today. When you look at today's theme, you have what it takes. What I can say is that to be a great lawyer, and we put intelligence to, that's a given, but to be a great lawyer, actually, my dad always said with the 3 C's: common sense, the common touch, and above all else, compassion. And the common touch is about being able to relate to people from all walks of life in our community. And if you have had to traverse all these different worlds, or like you, Grace, coming from Gisborne, you know what I mean. Mm. If you come from a background which has a lower socioeconomic adversity, all of it, your ability to exercise common sense, have a common touch, and above all else have compassion, because your understanding of the human condition is fundamentally different to people who have not had those experiences. You have what it takes to be not a good lawyer, a great lawyer.
Yeah, amazing.
And to that I would add, things like courage, cultural background, all the C's all start to add up. And it's why, people who a legally, academically brilliant struggle in the practice of law. Because it's all very well to have the legal answer, but sometimes that's not the right answer in a situation, because we're dealing with the human condition, with people, real people who are having a conflict.